100%
Music.
100%
Music.
100% music.
Music.
100% music.
And we're back. First podcast of 2024. First one of several months. But
Hey,
it
guys.
feels good to be
Happy
back.
Hat Day.
Happy Hat Day
Happy
here
Hat
at
Day.
Hembree
Got our
HQ.
hats on.
Were you guys embarrassed to show up in the same hats?
We were wearing them yesterday, so
You just haven't taken them off?
Well, it's the only hat I own, so I had nothing I could do. We were just kind of stuck here.
I'm wearing this every day until the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
The
Let's
chefs.
go.
Wait, does it say Chiefs or chefs?
It's the Chefs.
Oh, it's the Chefs.
Which is an old Snickers commercial.
And it says,
I do
we,
remember that.
we hungry on the side.
Just like the Chefs, we hungry.
Brought back that commercial. They've been airing it again. Is it the same one or is it a redone version? Do we
It's
know?
a new version starring Andy Reid, head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. And my mom likes to text me all the time and say, great hoogly moogly, because that's what Andy Reid says when they mess up the name.
Is that a real thing that he says
He
in
does
real life?
say it.
That's
So-
a phrase?
No, that's what Snickers got him to say.
Oh, okay.
That's
Why would
some
they get
real
him to
great
say that?
information there.
That's some big information. And you might notice the podcast looks a little different today because there is a special treat for you all the way from cold but home and wonderful Kansas City. Give it up for Garrett. Welcome, Garrett.
Hello. 100% music debut for Garrett.
Man,
First day on the show.
You've been dying to be on the podcast, haven't you?
let me tell you.
For the viewers, the listeners, Garrett is the 1/5 of Hembree holding down the Kansas sector, the contingency.
The hats don't do it on their own.
No.
The pizza shuttle shirt doesn't do it on its own. We need to have a member physically in Kansas City to keep our cred there.
At all times.
I'm the boots on the ground. The boots on the ground.
The
in
man
Kansas
on the
City.
street, the eyes on the prize.
Yep.
So we're going to segue that into asking Garrett questions maybe about music.
We have some shows coming up. We got a tour, lots of shows coming up. Garrett, favorite city to tour, to play, or even visit while on tour? And second follow-up, favorite or wildest tour story?
Whoa. This is loaded.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Kansas City's obviously always special. In a weird way, I'd say Kansas City's. Let me clarify before.
Careful.
As
Watch
the mayor,
it.
it's one of the hardest places to play because I'm always a bit nervous before we play. I get the most nervous when we play Kansas City because there's so many family friends in the crowd, a lot of other musicians. It just the stakes always seem a little bit higher when you're playing in front of your family and friends. So
Do you find it easier to play for strangers?
I do. Oh yeah,
Same,
I would
same.
absolutely prefer to play for strangers. My nerves are much more calm when I don't know anyone in the crowd. With that said, my favorite city to play, honestly, Davenport, Iowa.
Let's
go. Davenport, Iowa has become one of my favorite cities to play. If you haven't been to Davenport, you're missing out.
You ever been to the Raccoon
gotta
Motel?
get to the Raccoon Motel.
If you're only listening, you won't see it. I've got my Raccoon Motel sticker
Yeah.
on the back of my phone from Davenport, Iowa, a favorite venue.
The crew at the Raccoon Motel is going to treat you right. They are going to make you feel like everybody knows your name. My favorite tour story, I think you're going to be expecting something wild, something funny, and I'm going to go the opposite way.
I know what it is.
Isaac knows. I'm going to get a little sentimental here. One night, we had an off night in St. Louis, Missouri. It was snowy outside. It was cold as hell. And we went to the liquor store. We got some wine. We got a little Airbnb. We put the Netflix fire on the TV. And we played cards and dice and just drank some wine as a band. It was a wonderful night.
Yeah.
That's one of my
very
favorite.
cozy.
That was one of my favorite nights on tour. Maybe because it felt like I wasn't on tour. Possibly.
there we go.
Cancel the show, cancel the rest of the tour.
What game were we playing? What card game?
It was the nines.
Nines.
Yeah, nines. Yeah.
Game called Nines. We'll put a
we'll tell
link
you
to the
about it.
instructions down there in the bottom.
Yeah.
Smash that link for instructions on nines.
Google nines, bignines.com.
Don't Google that. For the love of Christ, don't Google that.
My question, and it's something we've talked about, maybe even previously on the pod, but we haven't got Garrett's opinion. We've talked about food on the road, and it's always a bit of a challenge to find quality food that won't set you back too much expense-wise on the finances for the band, but also won't make you feel terrible. Garrett, what's your favorite food stops on the road? Specifically, let's talk about like kind of chains, I guess. That
Yeah,
people-
highway food.
Highway food.
We're kind of a Panera band.
St. Louis, Panera. I mean, I don't know. Maybe St. Louis has something going.
There's something going on there.
Are they,
Yeah.
is Panera based in St. Louis?
St. Louis Bread Company.
Yeah, that's right.
We know this because the
Yeah.
Wards used to go to the one free St. Louis bread company.
Well, it's not supposed to be free. It's the which I don't think they run this program.
It was a
anymore,
failed social
but it was
experiment.
a pay what you can program, because the idea was that if you weren't swimming in cash and you needed help getting food just in general, you could go basically for free, and then people who could afford it
swimming in
would pay a
cash.
bit more, and that would cover the cost and make
Hopefully
the offset.
subsidized for
Yes.
those folks who
Yeah, the
couldn't
real
afford.
in rainbows of fast food chains.
It was the in rainbows. They were trailblazers.
But we would go on tour and definitely not pay anything and would order way too much food and take it to go in the van, and it'd feed us for like 3 days. And it was the
It was a
best.
low point for the band, and the expectation was if you couldn't afford to eat, you would volunteer to work for a few hours a shift.
So these guys, we're just going to put it out there. They worked a lot of
We did,
shifts.
we worked a lot
at
of
St.
shifts.
Louis Bread Company
Yeah.
to make things whole.
So the best part is that so the way it works is they ring up what you order and they give you a receipt that shows what the normal amount would be, and then they just kind of look you dead in the eye, and then
Expecting
the idea is
something.
that you say like, "Here's $5," but your total's $83
Worth of
and
Panera
then
food.
we would just kind of look at them like give them $10.
I was gonna say, would you meet their gaze?
Oh yeah, I would look them dead line and be like, but you like I'd be like, oh, I'm struggling. Here's $10, but like I have nice clothes on.
honestly, at that era of band life, maybe we were struggling because I remember one time Eric
Maybe we
and I-
were struggling.
Maybe, yeah. I
They
still
still
I think we're struggling.
We need free
were and
Panera.
still are.
But the first tour I ever did, I won't sidebar us too much here, but Eric and I, we were shaving in a Walmart in the bathroom, and this man definitely thought that we did not have homes, we did not have any money.
We slept in the parking lot
Yeah.
that night in
So you
our
were
van.
basically
So
Yeah,
houseless
essentially.
for a night.
shaving in a Walmart does not a particularly good feeling, I guess.
It's one of my favorite things to do. I just kind of do it daily, and
Yeah,
no.
it hits different.
But with that, do you have any questions for Garrett?
Right now, we're in Los Angeles, and it is beautiful outside. And Garrett's about to fly home to Kansas City, where it was negative 30 degrees last night. And so,
Before wind chill.
yeah, we were with the wind chill, so absolutely brutal. What is the best time of year to be there? Because it's brutally hot in the summer. It's brutally cold in the winter. We got storms in the spring. Is it fall? Is it fall?
This is a leading
Eric's
question.
it's fall. Right?
Is it fall?
Yes or no?
Say
Fall.
fall.
Is it fall?
It's miserable in the winter. It's miserable in the summer. It's horrible in the spring.
Yeah. Well, spring's good.
So
you know.
what's the best time?
It's green. It's green though. I don't know.
Yeah, personally, I'm a spring guy. I love the spring. I love
you
when
go.
things are coming back to life. It makes me feel happy inside.
Spring birthday too, right?
I got spring
you
birthday.
go.
Everyone
See?
can send me gifts. I'm a Pisces. Get tired of it getting dark all winter. The spring, it's light outside. I don't know. You just start to feel alive again. But as far as Kansas City specifically, probably fall. It's a wonderful place to be in the fall. So much to do. The weather's perfect. The leaves are changing.
Well, my cousin was talking to me about this because he lived in California for quite a while, and he moved back to the East Coast. And he was saying that living out here was kind of strange because you don't have seasons to mark time, and it just felt like it was very hard for him to like keep track of when things happened, and that he really, really thinks that being on seasons has like kind of made him happier.
What about a sleeper pick? And I know no one asked me, but I'm the lead
Yeah,
singer.
yeah.
So, I want to say what I think. Sleeper
I
pick.
don't see Isaac questions on the agenda.
Our producers didn't put me on the board today.
A sleeper pick of seasons?
Yeah,
There's only four to choose from.
I've created my own.
Yeah.
It's a new season.
Isaac just wants
no.
to tell him what his birthday is.
Yeah. Summer. But I won't tell you freaks when it is exactly. No, here we go. Sleeper pick for a favorite part of Kansas City seasons in general. Summer nights. Hot.
Ooh, yeah.
Humid.
The
but
cicadas,
are going.
yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And it doesn't cool off at all, but there's something about that hot humidity, and I'm not joking right now that I actually kind of really
No,
like.
absolutely. Walking,
Yeah.
going to the grocery store or something late night, walking back to your car, the cicadas are going. It's
Mosquitoes are
wonderful.
biting.
Mosquitoes
true.
are biting you. You're sweating your ass off. It's perfect. No one could
Come check it
pass
out.
that up. Yeah.
Check it out.
And they can stay with you if they come to town, right?
Yeah, come on. I gotta.
We won't tell you his address till episode 7.
Yeah.
I want to know Garrett's favorite place to eat in all of Kansas City. His favorite restaurant in Kansas City.
This is a tourist recommendation.
Yeah.
This is an expert's recommendation.
I mean, I feel like we talk about it a lot in the band, but the peanut is.
Good choice.
Iconic.
The
That
peanut's
is correct.
iconic. You know, everyone's going to tell you about the barbecue.
correct. Next
It
question.
And we have wonderful barbecue, but it's so played out. You got to go to the peanut
Which location of the peanut?
on Main Street. I mean, they're all good, but the Main Street one is the one you got to go to. Went there the day of my wedding. If that tells you anything, it's the best. Best wings you're going to ever have. Suck it, Buffalo.
For real.
You don't have anything on the peanut.
There's something about that fryer that it hasn't been touched since
hasn't-
1986.
Yeah, probably hasn't been cleaned in well over 40 years, and that's what gives it the flavor that you're going to fall in love with.
What's the hometown Kansas City perception on the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce phenomenon?
I mean, she's our queen. we love her.
Queen.
I do.
She's our benevolent leader.
She was giving people high 4s
Yeah.
at the game.
Very cool.
Rasheed Rice.
Yeah,
Yep.
she braved the cold. We love her. I don't know what else you want.
It doesn't take much
Taylor.
to win over people from the Midwest. I'll just say that. Like, just give them any sort of love or anything like that. And it's not that.
They reciprocate.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's great about the Midwest is, you don't have to do that much to really prove yourself. She went to like a couple Chiefs game, and she's going to be a legend there for like 1,000 years. She's
To be fair, she's kind of just a legend everywhere.
Yeah.
No,
See, like,
Kansas City
there's-
put her
but
on the
there's
map.
like some.
We did it, Kansas
She'd
City.
be nothing without Kansas City.
Whoa, must be Burt Reynolds or something.
We do celebrity sightings for every show here. I don't have any good ones as of now, so I was like, let's get caught up on you got. I know you got a few good ones.
When we were talking about Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
it did make me think of a certain celebrity that Alex had a good time with at South by Southwest. That Garrett and I have also had good times with.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of folks have a Bill Murray story.
I got snuck into the Muse show that happened to have an open bar. I took advantage. I watched the show, and then when the show was over, I said, "Hey, Alex, I'm going to give you this wristband. Open bar is open for another hour. Come partake." Swap places. Alex enjoyed the bar, and then
My Bill Murray story was as I was leaving, and I partook in the open bar quite a bit, and I had they were giving out jean jackets, and by the time I had gotten there, they only had one double extra large denim jean jacket.
it was sponsored by Gap.
By Gap,
it was
and
a
I took the Gap jean
jacket.
jacket, and I knew I looked like a little child in their dad's suit or something. As soon as I put it on, I was like, "Hey, it's free. I'm going to rock this thing." I walk outside, and this is probably 10 p.m., and I see a sea of people, as there always is at South by Southwest down on 6th Street, and the crowd's kind of parting. Bill Murray is just walking through with a group of folks behind him, his followers. We made eye contact, and as he walked by, he said, "Hey, jean jacket, you coming with me?" And I did a double take, and I was like, "Yeah." So I started following Bill Murray. We went around the corner, and he had a private bus rented, and he was greeting people at the bus door to get on his private bus, and it was like 10 people, clearly from another band, it looked like, and I just walked right on the private bus, and he welcomes me on, and then as I got on the bus, I immediately am trying to text, but there's no service at South by Southwest, but I'm trying to text everybody like I'm on a bus with Bill Murray, and then no one believed me when my text messages finally went through. We ended up on a bridge watching a secret show, and then around that time I think is when everybody else kind of met up, and at the time we had an old camcorder, so I've got some good footage of Bill Murray hanging out at South by Southwest. He was a true gentleman.
We'll unearth that someday.
Yeah, we'll unearth that. Yeah, this would be a good time to post that link.
It's right here. Post that link right here. It's right here.
You two have a Bill Murray story.
And it all goes back to our man, Sean from Davenport. Yep. Sean calls me up one day and he's like, "Hey, bud, do you want to hang out with Bill Murray?" It's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to hang out with Bill Murray. What do I have to do?" So then he's like, "Well, do you and Garrett want to hang out with Bill Murray, but you have to do it on separate days?" And I was like, "What is this puzzle that we're putting together here?" And he was like, "They're filming something about minor league baseball because Bill Murray's very involved in minor league baseball, and they're coming to Kansas City."
Independent league baseball. It's even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's
there you
even-
go.
Below
it's
minor?
It's below minor.
Okay.
No, that's not a knock on independent
No, oh,
baseball,
yeah, it is.
but
It's like the T-bones and stuff.
Yeah, it was T-Bones.
Okay. So
fighting T-bones.
Let's go T-bones. Yeah, if you still exist.
They're the Monarchs now, aren't they?
Oh.
The
Yeah,
Monarchs
yeah.
now.
We'll cut
Don't
that.
exist.
Go Monarchs. Yeah. They're doing some amazing things in Kansas City, based around the Negro League Museum, and kind of helping kids who would not necessarily get the opportunity to play baseball be around the game of baseball, which we in Hembree advocate for everyone to play baseball too. And so
Big
baseball.
advocate.
Yes.
baseball.
Personal mission.
So they were hosting something for all these kids, and Bill and his brother Brian Doyle Murray were a part of it. And they show up and they just kind of like play baseball with the kids all day. I just thought I was there to be like a PA. But I show up and Bill gets out of his car with these chocolate covered raspberries. And he's like, hey, these are really good. Do you want some of these? I was like, what is going on? Yes, absolutely. So I partake in the chocolate covered raspberries. Brian's super nice. All the kids like him even more because he's the Flying Dutchman in SpongeBob. So they recognize him even a little bit more. But I was supposed to be a PA, and then Bill was like, hey, let's get Isaac a camera too. So next thing I know, I'm assigned to follow Bill around all day with a like handheld video camera. And then at the end of the day, he's talking to me about South by Southwest. He's telling me I've got an eye for film. I'm like, do I rethink everything? I've been in music. I need to switch to film. And then
Is your camera even on?
I don't even know.
Wasn't even a real camera.
No, I have no idea, but I was having a blast. And at the end of the day, he was telling me he was going down to South by Southwest. He was singing and his friend was playing cello. They were going to do some gigs.
What?
I don't even know. But one highlight for me of the day was a little kid ran up to him and they were like, Bill Murray, what's it like to be a Ghostbuster? And he looks that kid dead in the eye and he goes, it's a good retirement plan, kid. And then the next day, so I was off my shift, and the next day it was all the G-Man.
Yeah, at one point he asked what my name was. I said, my name is Garrett. And he said, how do you spell that? I said, Garrett. And he smiled and he nodded and he said, that's correct.
So
My other one is during the seventh inning stretch, they're getting ready to play Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and Bill was going to go out and sing it. And so we were in the corridor, and he starts walking down, and it's an independent league stadium. It's not a major league stadium, that's for sure. And right as he walks onto the field, there's like a little addition to the dugout where there's like groundskeeping tools, and he grabs a shovel. I don't think anyone expected him to grab the shovel, but he grabs a shovel, sings the seventh inning stretch, directing the crowd by swinging the shovel around. And then again, the team's name is T-Bones, and he finishes the song, and then he says, "Let's go T-Bones. Let's eat meat. Let's eat meat." And the whole crowd starts chanting, "Let's eat meat." And you better believe I was screaming, "Let's eat meat," because Bill Murray was chanting it. And
So this is a pretty amazing segue we have going here because we want to introduce a new segment to the show. It's called Rank Your Billies.
Rank
Yeah,
your Billies.
Yeah.
Let's each choose a Billy. How about that? A
Okay.
Billy per person.
I'm going Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Crudup.
The crud is what I call him.
The Crudster.
The crudster, old crudster.
Everyone in Hollywood just calls him the Crud.
Billy Crudup's walking
Ooh,
on
the Crud's in that new movie? Hell yeah.
crud.
Love the Crud.
dude, I hate to do this. I don't know who that is.
Well, I think we know who's coming in last.
That's fair.
Or first, who knows?
Billy Crystal.
Ooh, good one. Got one, Eric?
Yeah, let's go Billy Idol.
Great Billy.
I was gonna say Billy Gibbons.
Let's rank these Billies.
Rank these Billies.
Do we want to start from last? Or
I'm looking at this list. I'm looking at this
so-
list of Billies, and I feel like there's been some glaring omissions.
Hey, there'll be more Billies to come. There'll be lots of Billies.
All right, that's true. Okay,
These are
this is a
older
good. This is a
white men.
This is a
named Billy.
This is the Billy starter pack.
Yeah, last is gonna be the Crud because I don't know who he is. I'm sorry.
Sorry, the
That's
Crud.
fair.
My apologies to the Crud.
So he's an actor. He was in like Almost Famous.
Early the morning show.
More recently, Morning Show.
So he's -5. -5 for
five.
Billy Crudup.
Yeah, sorry to the Crud. 4's probably gonna be Billy Crystal.
What's your beef with Billy Crystal?
yeah.
Sounds like you've got beef with a Billy.
I don't have beef with Billy Crystal.
Billy
I just
beef.
have even less beef with the other three.
Okay, cool,
okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Respect. Shout out Billy Crystal.
Fan
You know,
of the
number
pod.
3 this is gonna surprise you, but number 3 I'm gonna do Billy Idol.
Billy Idol.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
where this is going.
I love Billy Idol, but again, I just like the other Billies more. And number 2 is definitely going to be Billy Ray Cyrus for 2 reasons. When I was a child, I loved Achy Breaky Heart.
Great song.
It was one of the songs that resonated with me most when I was roughly 4 or 5 years old.
I agree. Same.
You guys liked it?
It's a good child.
It was
It's a good children's
yeah,
song.
it was
Hey, Billy Ray Cyrus, that's a good kid song you wrote.
And he made Miley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We love Miley.
we love Miley.
And number one's going to be Billy Gibbons. I love ZZ Top. Second concert I ever went to. First concert was Garth Brooks when I was 3 years old. Explains also why I was listening to Billy Ray Cyrus at three years
Country
old.
boy.
I was a country
He's a country
boy.
boy.
I was a little
Thank
country
God.
boy in Phoenix, Arizona. But yeah,
Billy
ZZ
Gibbons,
Top.
number one. That's a quite a list there of the Billies. Now in our bracketing system, does this mean Billy Gibbons moves on to the next
next round.
Next
These
Billy
other
round.
Billies are
chant
gone.
all-star Billy lineup.
Yeah,
I
best
like
of the
this.
Billies.
So anybody watching this, if you want to go ahead and rank these Billies, go ahead and let us know what you think of this these Billy rankings.
Yes.
And if you feel like there's any
Yeah.
Billies we might have missed out there, you can
Oh,
let us know.
that's the thing. It's so great. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Record of the week. Garrett, since we've got you here, we do want to pick your brain on your record of the week.
My record of the week is going to be Graceland by Paul Simon. One of my all-time faves. If I was stuck on a desert island or anywhere, honestly, I was a late comer to Graceland.
I was too.
My dad is not a huge Paul Simon guy. And
More of an art.
he's
Garfunkel.
Yeah, he's a
He's a funkler.
yeah he's a
He funkles. He funkles
funkles.
around.
yeah. You know, so much of my music taste from that era was formed by what my dad is
Exclusively
into, and
ZZ Top.
Exclusively ZZ Top. I didn't know that there was other music other than ZZ Top and Billy Ray Cyrus until I was in high school. Then I got real into it. Watched the classic making of classic albums.
Oh,
Is
the
that
classic albums is the
on
best.
VH1? Yeah, if you haven't watched that, you got to watch it.
It's the best.
Paul flies to South Africa. It's crazy. It's wonderful. Makes you fall in love with the album even more.
Do you have a
Every
favorite-
song is great.
Do you have a favorite track from the record?
Oh man, I
It
do
might
think
be.
I think Graceland, the song, is probably my favorite. That song never fails to put me in a good mood if I'm feeling bummed. Listen to Graceland, great mood. But Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes
where I was going.
that could be tied for number one. I'd say those are 1 and 2 for me.
Do you like? Ba-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun,
I got a great story about that song.
dun-dun-dun,
I was
dun-dun-dun,
oh
dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, call me out. Great
Call
song.
me out.
I was in line with a bunch of people to get a COVID booster at a CVS.
And that happened?
Yeah, no, we were just. It was like a bunch of people sitting kind of like we were, and then that song came on
With
the
microphones?
CVS. No, that song came on at the CVS. And it was just these 5 just white people sitting in line to get their COVID booster, just getting down to it. I was like, and it was just hitting. And then that harmony, the horn harmony comes, and it's just like, oh yeah.
So
And
it
then we
was
got-
a lot like what just happened.
Yeah, it was just like that. Yeah, we were getting down to it, and it was just this amazing shared experience.
What an amazing what an amazing record of the week. That's my dog's favorite album. No, I'm not even kidding. He
Great taste.
Great taste. He just hates fireworks, and so anytime fireworks start blasting in LA, I crank up Graceland so that he can't hear them, and he conks right out.
Great album for your dog. Great album for the car. I love
Yes.
just cruising and putting on Graceland. That's just on a road trip. Great road trip album.
Play it for your dog. Play it in your car.
Have there been any Hembree tunes directly influenced or inspired by a Paul Simon vibe?
There's a couple that have never come out.
All right.
Which it's really hard. It's really hard. I mean, Monday morning.
Monday
maybe-
morning gives me Paul
Yeah.
Simon vibes for sure.
maybe the most.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kind of do Paul Simon because he's so incredibly talented. But like the music is a little bit lighter. It's a little softer. The tones are a little softer. So sometimes just like when you do that and you try to recreate that, you can find yourself, especially with modern production, you can find yourself sounding like a little bit like soft rock. And, but he's such a massive influence. So I want to integrate more, Paul Simon into it. I'm also just like blown away by how good he is. He's such a good acoustic player. And if you watch any live performance, he's like always on. Always sounds so good.
Underrated singer.
Yeah, underrated singer, so
Underrated
precise. Underrated guest on Saturday Night Live as like a comedian. There's a lot of, not a comedian, I guess, but like featured in sketches and stuff
Yeah.
in the early days. So Yeah, shout out, Paul.
He was on the Smart List podcast recently, and he talked about that if in another life he would love to be a comedian or an actor.
Really?
Yeah, he talked about that because they brought up SNL and how funny he is, and he loves that
A
stuff.
lot of musicians want to be comics.
Yep. Comics want to be
Like us.
musicians.
That's why we have this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta get that outlet. So what, we want to wrap up with some questions from Garrett to the
Yeah,
band, 'cause
from
we're
Garrett.
not gonna see him for a while. We gotta get this stuff out
We're
there.
not going to see this guy for 14 days.
It's brutal. A brutal 14
can't
days.
handle this.
Brutal 14 days.
So I'm asking each of you an
Yes.
individual
Well,
question.
That could be one.
Maybe one.
just one question, just one overarching question.
One philosophical
One burning
question.
question.
If you could pick one Nintendo 64 game to play on tour together as a band, one Nintendo 64, yeah, it kind of changes it. One Nintendo 64 game to play together as a band.
I'm going to go
modes.
with Cruisin' USA.
Road.
We could play that a lot and make it, competitive,
Yeah, it'd be
tournament
fun. I like
style.
And you can practice for your driving turn that's coming up.
Yes,
You're in the
yeah.
van, get in the
Just
van.
off the road.
I'll keep it pretty classic here. I'll say Smash Brothers 64.
Great choice.
Heart says GoldenEye. The head says a Mario Party game.
Yeah, Mario Party. That's fun.
Man, no one picked what I thought was the most obvious choice is Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But I also would throw out NFL Blitz.
Yeah, that's fun too.
So fun. No rules. Anything goes. Knock out the receivers.
That's like us on tour. No rules.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Tossing Hail Marys every night. Of the
Yeah,
show.
hacking into televisions.
Home
really-
2 Suites tells me not to unplug a HDMI cable.
Blitz it. Blitz that
that.
cable.
We got,
Blitz that
we got
cable.
NA beers on our rider. Like
We do have NA beers on our rider
Guys,
now.
we're really aging ourselves here right now, so maybe it's a good time to wrap it up.
Well, I wanted to end it on a question that just set us up to look even more like a bunch of millennial white
Yeah.
dudes. So I'm glad I accomplished
Thank
that.
you for that, Garrett.
We're going to be doing the podcast more often.
On tour, coming
On
up.
tour, we're going to be keeping this going regular. We're really excited to be doing this again.
If you have any other segments or any Billies, send them our way. That's hembreemusic@gmail.com. That is an email we will give out. We will tell you Garrett's birthday at a later date. Thank you. This has been the 100% Music Podcast.
100% music.